Alright, this morning we are going to take a look at the Honda CB500X. This is a nice little unit for what? Well, I'd say this is a nice little unit for doing commuting. It's a perfect bike for a new rider because it's got a low seat height. And it's Honda reliability, so 500 cc's may not seem like, it's the 1000 or it's a really big bike, but it has a really good reliability. Can handle the highways really well, can handle the back roads really well, surprisingly, for a very basic bike. A lot of guys are using these for sort of an introductory adventure bike. They make good for that. The suspension's a little bit soft. So like on this bike, the fork oil's been upgraded to a heavier weight fork oil in the front, so it keeps it from bottoming, and it adds a little bit more rebound and compression dampening, just because of the same valve, a little bit thicker oil. It does wonders. It kind of balances out that bike. It's a nice upgrade. Other than that, let's see. It's, I think, time to go take it for a ride. But there are a couple little additions to this bike. The tires are an upgrade, just a little bit more aggressive for, say, dirt roads. Not really like trail riding, but even though these look aggressive, these are the Shinko 704-705 combination, and they have great traction on dirt roads. They're very rounded in shape, so they do really well on the streets, and they actually really handle well in corners, surprisingly well. Let's see what else we've got. We've got the crash bars, the Give crash bars. And these have actually seen a little bit of use here. See some scratches here. We've got the little Give slider there, so if you really were to crash it, that would help it not stick to the pavement quite as much and maybe slide a bit more. It hasn't really seen that kind of abuse, but it has taken a fall or two. You can see a little bit of a scuff on the handlebar end there. But overall, the paint's been kept pretty darn clean. Say we take it for a ride. This will be a short ride. I'm 6 foot tall. I have a 33 to 34 inch inseam, and I'm completely flat-footed on this bike with my knees bent a little bit. So you have kind of an idea of just how low of a seat height. It's quite nice. There's that Honda reliability, starts right up, pretty quiet bike. This one also has grip heaters on it. So having nice warm hands on that early morning commute is nice, or if you're up in the mountains. Pretty good sized mirrors here. I'm going to readjust those. There we go. And let's take it for a little ride. We'll go around the parking lot here really quick. Kind of get an idea of how it handles in the parking lot. Easy bike to handle. You'll notice on some of these Hondas, which like say CRF 250, CRF 250L, CRF 250L Rally, CB500, most of the smaller bikes, they put in a judder spring in the clutch. And when I pull in the clutch, what you'll find is that there's about, from there, the pole goes to about there. It's a pretty small pole, or, the friction zone is, in a sense, pretty small, but that judder spring helps you not stall the bike. So for around parking lots and such, pretty easy bike to maneuver. And you have that, your legs can easily touch the ground, so it makes it pretty confidence inspiring around parking lots. We'll take this up to speed. Certainly quick enough. Nothing surprising in that power band at all. So things to consider on this bike. So there's no gear indicator. There is a fuel level, so you know how much fuel I have. There's some bikes that don't have that, so the light comes on and tells you you're about out of gas. This one, at least you've got a fuel indicator, which is nice. You need to learn to realize or count what gears you're in so that you remember. You might always find yourself clicking up a gear because it's got a lot of torque in this motor. Even at 45 miles an hour in top gear, you feel like, oh, I could click it up a gear because it's so torquey. This bike does have a new chain and sprockets on it as well. One of the things I had noticed. With, let's see, 14,192 miles. And this one has been used for a few adventure trips up and down the coast of California, up into the Sierras. Previous owner has like 4 or 5 bikes and sort of has a lot of different adventure bikes, and bought this one for a lightweight adventure bike. So that throttle's really smooth, real easy to manage the throttle. That's why it makes it such a great beginner bike. And then that judder spring in the clutch, I'm just popping that clutch right out, and it's, you know, it's not, I don't know what you want to call it, it's not aggressive, it's not abrupt, that's the word I was looking for. It doesn't create this abrupt feel where it's like, you know, pulls your hands back or pushes you really hard or anything like that. So for a lot of reasons, that makes this a great commuter bike. It's pretty narrow. You can get through the cars. You're sitting upright so I can see over the cars. It's real easy to handle. I can maneuver it in and out wherever I need to. They get great fuel economy. That's kind of what you want in a commuter bike. You know, you're really, in a commuter bike for me, I don't really want to have a specialty motorcycle. I want something that can do really well at kind of everything. You get involved in a lot of different situations. You want to just be able to concentrate on getting to work. Also makes it a great beginner bike and a great way to get into adventure riding. This thing will take the highway no problem at all. You can choose different bars because it's got a standard triple clamp. I would prefer a little bit wider bar with this bike. But if I were commuting, maybe I'd leave these on. Let's see how that suspension works in and out of parking lots. I'm going to pull into this parking lot a little bit too fast over here. No outlet. Okay. No problem. That would have really bottomed out the suspension before. And with the upgraded, well, the higher viscosity oil in the forks really makes these forks work quite well. It's really even with the back, whereas before, like stock settings, so let's say you're not buying this bike, you're buying another bike, but it's the same bike. I'd say your first mod to make this bike work a lot better for you is to pull those forks off, empty that oil out, put in the same amount of oil, just up the viscosity by 1. I think it has 10 weight in it and go to a 15. I believe that's correct. I may be wrong. If it's a 5 weight, go to 10. I don't really remember. I think it has 10 in it, and I think you put 15 in it, but you'd have to double check the owner's manual for that. It really makes a massive improvement on this motorcycle. Everything else is kind of right where you want it. This thing has a little aftermarket horn on it, which is really nice. It has a cool sound to it. Pickup's good. There's just enough power, you know. And if you're just bombing around the neighborhoods just like this, sure makes it fun. An agile little bike. It's got plenty of ground clearance, so coming around corners like that, you're not going to scrape anything. It really works well. Tires are a big plus. I like these Shinko 705s. They're a fantastic tire. And that, my friends, is the Honda CB500X. Boom.